Join us and discover beautiful beaches, rugged landscapes, pretty towns, desolate mountain ranges that sweep down to stunning lakes, unique architecture, history and folklore, no shamrocks, no shillelaghs, and definitely no shenanigans, just naked Ireland. So here's my top 5 pub recommendations if you're coming to Dublin, in reverse order. So I'm starting with this one in Merrion Row. The famous Odon Hughes Pub is number 5. This is a lively pub, and I filmed it in the evening too, because I felt you needed to see an Irish pub going full pelt. As you can see, it has an outdoor area as well, which we're visiting first. And then we double round to see this slightly more sedate room adjacent to the main public house. It seems to be more couples in here, out for a not so quiet night. Outside again, and then into the main bar of this most famous of Dublin pubs. For those watching outside Ireland who are accustomed to Irish pubs as they're defined abroad, this is the real thing, an Irish pub that's been packing them in for years. Now I've made quite a few films about various Irish pubs, and I often shoot them during the day so that you can actually see the space and the furniture. But this film is to give viewers, especially foreign viewers, an idea of what they expect from a pub in an Irish city after dark. It can get a bit mad. But this is where it all happens, where Dublin's socialising is done. This is actually quite a famous music bar, well known on Dublin's traditional music scene. In fact, the Irish folk group the Dubliners is alleged to have been formed here, and the pub has hosted many other big names in Irish music over the years, many of whom adorn the walls and the portraits that you see. So I pushed my way on into the back bar, and as you can see, it too is adorned with photos that allude to the pub's illustrious past. Back to the main bar again. You really do have to push your way through the crowd to get to the toilets, and getting served at the bar on a busy night like this can be difficult if you're not assertive. But this is what it's all about, lots of people sharing the same space and enjoying themselves. The poor bar staff have a nightmare of a job in nights like this. Everyone wants served and everyone's a priority. Now aside from the crack being 90 here, it's an attractive bar to come to during the day. Hard to imagine that right now, I know. So Odon Hughes has made it the 5th position. Time to calm things down a bit now as we pay a daytime visit to John Keogh's pub in Ann Street South, just off Grafton Street. Immediately on entry you can see what was the grocery part of the pub with its mahogany drawers, which would have been used to sell tea, coffee or snuff. You could say this place is a bit of a time capsule, since its interior hasn't significantly changed since its origin in Victorian times at the end of the 19th century. In fact, the pub was first licensed in 1803. You can see here one of the little snugs. Many of Dublin's oldest pubs have these amazing cosy little areas, which are long since dispensed with in many other places, but they're retained here in all their Victorian beauty. Now I know there'll be no one upstairs at this time of day, but we might as well have a look around. Typical old carpet reminds me of my house when I was a kid. And then we have this wall of pictures of famous Irish writers and personalities of one sort or another. Again, this yellow and red two-tone decor runs throughout the pub. This part of the pub feels like it's quite a low ceiling, almost as though we're in someone's house. So there we go, I've rated this nice pub in 4th position. Now the amazing pub in 3rd position is James Toner's on the corner of Lower Bagot Street and Rogers Lane. I presume this side street is called Rogers Lane after the original licensee of the pub, Andrew Rogers, who opened it to the drinking public away back in 1818. The inscription above the door reads, "O Ireland, my first and only love, where Christ and Caesar are hand in glove." A quote from James Joyce's poem, Gas from a Burner. Again, like the last pub, we see immediately that it's a Victorian snug. Actually, the term snug is given to these little annexes that a group of people can drink together in. It's a great way to spend an evening if you're out with a few friends, in the privacy of a wee snug, where you can have all the crack you want without disturbing the rest of the bar. But as you can see, this isn't the evening. In fact, the pub's not long open, so there's just a few regulars in at the moment. In some ways, these bars are better during the day, where you can enjoy a pint in peace and read a book or the paper. The interior is all original, and it has the patina that you'd expect from a 19th century pub. Brilliant to be able to sit here and have a pint and watch Dublin go by. There's so many pubs where it's not possible to do that. I think most traditional pubs in Ireland usually were very careful about privacy. People in Ireland have always loved to drink, but haven't always wanted to be seen drinking. Of course, that's changed these days. We can see the original bar here with its beautiful mahogany drawers. And this young barman is now carrying out the most holy of tasks, pouring a couple of pints of Guinness. It's something you need to get right, and down they go to settle. This is what people primarily come into pubs like this for. This place's close proximity to the Dáil Éireann, which is the Irish Parliament in nearby Leinster House in Kildare Street, means that it's not unheard of for the odd politician to frequent the pub, and of course media people too. If we stick around, we might see the Taoiseach come in for his pint. This is certainly a very beautiful pub, and I have no hesitation in recommending it, particularly for a wee daytime lonely pint, or if you're having a chat with a friend. Okay, at the number 2 spot, now it's getting exciting. We visit the welcoming Long Hall in South Great George Street. This is a magnificent pub, full of atmosphere. Let's have a look inside. There's no big sports screen or uncomfortably loud music. Instead, we get a sumptuous Victorian interior, all in red, with gorgeous lighting, red carpet and leather stools, stained glass and tasteful fittings. Just look at the gold leaf reliefs here. The pub as it is now opened in the 1860s, and as you can see, it still retains its Victorian charm. Prior to that, it was a drinking establishment dating back as far as 1766. We're now heading down the long hall through the mahogany arch with its beautiful clock. The pub backs onto Dublin Castle and was a local haunt for the Fenians, a secret Republican organisation in the late 19th and early 20th century. This bar was where the failed Fenian Rising of 1867 was concocted, and that led, in fact, to the bar being infiltrated with British agents and eventually closed. It was also frequented by Irish writer Brendan Behan, rock musician Thin Lizzy's Phil Lynott, who's also a Dublin legend, and even Bruce Springsteen when he's in town. And this is the most important part of any Irish bar, the big creamy pints of Guinness. Okay, just before visiting Dublin's best pub, in my view, give the film a like if it's been informative, and please don't forget to subscribe. Very, very, very important. Show your support, I'd really appreciate it. So here we are in William Street South, looking at the striking red painted building of Grans Bar, also called the Castle Lounge. This is my number 1 choice, and probably a controversial choice because it's so ordinary in many ways. This seems to be one of the last bars to resist the call of the big franchise. Instead, it maintains its individuality, peculiarity even, and consequently, it's an original drinking experience. The walls strewn with artworks of all types, which are for sale, and the pub takes no commission on this. Periodically, the artworks are changed so that there's always something of interest. Having no music and no sports TV ensures it's the best place for a pint and a chat. I'd describe this place as one of Dublin's literary pubs, a place with a history of being frequented since the 1970s by writers such as Flann O'Brien, Patrick Kavanagh, J.P. Dunleavy and Liam O'Flaherty. It also does an old-fashioned bar toasted sandwich, which was a form of catering that I thought had been consigned to history. This terrace heating ensures you can now take your pint of Guinness and your toastie and sit outside if you prefer to watch Dublin go by. And with all this talk of drink, this would be a great time for me to let you know that if you really appreciate Naked Ireland, you can buy me a pint to support the channel. It's really easy, just check out the link in the second paragraph of the description below the video. I strongly recommend this pub for its ambience, craic, its Guinness and above all its honesty. So I'm off for a pint now and I'll see you all in the next Naked Ireland video.